What is happening, everybody? It is July 28th, Wednesday right now. So I'll be giving an update on the stock market as well as a stock call out this video. Um, I'm actually really excited for this video because this will be my first kind of stock alert on a stock I'm looking at. I have been looking at for a while. Before I even start rambling on about how much I love this stock, I'm not a financial advisor. This is basically my opinion, an educated opinion on the stock market, calling it as I see it. So we're going to definitely call this one as I see it. Right where it's at, I picked up 450 shares about, I want to say, a day ago. And I'm loving this stock so much. The ticker symbol is SNDL. If you haven't heard of SNDL, it's Sundial Growers, and it's a cannabis stock. Because I am an absolute believer in cannabis. I think this stock is going to go to the moon once we reach the point of federal legalization, which is definitely going to be here within the next year or so. I can definitely see that happening. If not, then it would be more of a long-term hold. But as far as penny stocks go, and there's not a lot of cannabis options right now, this one is hot. This thing trades at massive amounts of volume, a lot of buying always going on. People even talked about it being a short squeeze stock. I'm not really worried about that. I think they're going to have some very good medicine coming out. So people will buy it. It's a huge market on cannabis. There's not a lot of companies who do it right now. I know a couple off the back of my hand, but not really a lot that are publicly traded in the markets. So this one is crazy. I love the stock so much, so I had to make a video about it. SNDL 2021, get invested. Let's do this. Let's hold, and let's see some gains in the future. We're going to take a look at this stock. I'm going to share my screen, and we're going to jump right into analyzing this thing. And hopefully everyone understands what we're looking at. If you haven't seen my last two videos, I made a video on index funds talking about the S&P 500. Before that, if you have not invested in the stock market before, I made a video about the 5 ways to get started in the stock market. So those are both really good videos to go check out. So anyways, with that being said, let's jump right into looking at SNDL. Alright guys, like I said, I got the chart pulled up on Robinhood, so we can go ahead and analyze this chart and see what we've been looking like lately. And I will show you guys my average and approximately how many shares I picked up. So looking at this, we are up 7 cents today, which is crazy. That's a lot for a penny stock to bounce back up, which is great. Like I said, today is the 28th. It is a Wednesday. And the whole stock market seems to be pretty green, so that's good. Still down on a lot of positions right now, so it's really just a holding game. So let's look at the 1 week on SNDL. Okay, 1 week on SNDL. Looking at the price point of it, was it 82 cents recently? I have to see what my average is. I really forget where I picked it up at. I know it was a couple days ago I picked it up. But today, massive spike from 78 cents back up to 87 cents, which is good. Always like to see it come back up. It was trading at $1 for a while, or close to $1, definitely. I think it went to 130, 140, but I didn't have it at that time, so I'm not really worried about that. But let's see where it's been. So looking at a month, it's been coming down a lot. The whole market was, though. I feel like the whole market was correcting. They didn't have any bad news or anything. So, okay, yeah, so they're in, what was this? It was in June. We spiked at $1.30, which is a cool little, that's not, substantial gains. We're just going to hold through that. We're going to keep holding through that little spike. But a year ago, this thing really spiked up to like 295, which is ideal. That'd be fantastic if we could get another one of those. Or if we could just keep moving up very slowly, that'd be awesome too. So I really like this stock a lot. It is one of the only kind of weed pharma stocks that makes sense now. I know they're new to the stock market, which is honestly an opportunity because new things that have a lot of benefits, like marijuana, it's a proven fact that they have a lot of benefits, and they're helping people. Of course, we're going to have a big battle with, you know, normal pharmaceutical companies because this is all. I feel like marijuana fixes a lot of problems, or helps a lot of problems. Doesn't necessarily fix that certain medicines in pill forms and that are made in labs and stuff like that. Fix also, but if somebody has something natural in front of their face versus something chemically balanced in a lab, they're going to choose the natural way to heal most of the time. So that's when you really get into a touchy subject on whether this is going to be, a good investment or not. But I'm a true believer. I don't want to get political because this isn't politics. This is simply analyzing a stock. And when you analyze a stock, you're going to have to, put some real facts inside of your head. Is this going to make sense to the world? Because that's how we, go about investing. Does it really make sense to us? Like, you really have to believe something to invest in it. So that's usually what I go by. And if I'm a believer in something, it just makes it that much easier to hold it for a while. And that's how you really get those gains. And it feels good. Like when you get those gains and you really believed in something, you go with your gut feeling, it feels good. And I don't know about y'all, but like I live in Maryland and there's been dispensaries popping up everywhere. Like everywhere. I swear I can't drive 3 to 4 miles without seeing one. And they're, a lot of people are going there. This is going to be a huge market. Give it 5 to 10 years. Everywhere, could go recreational, federal legalization. Like you got to look at the bigger picture here. Not even the fact that we're looking at a medical field, because even when it's not a medical, when it's not a medical thing to look at, just like people go out and get some drinks at a bar on a weekend, some people will go buy weed for recreational use. It's just one of them things where it's going to come down to that. So there's 2 different markets on it when you're looking at the consumers. You're looking at our pharmaceuticals, which would help, pharmaceutical marijuana will help. I'm sorry, I shouldn't say it like that. Medical marijuana will help people with certain issues that they need to fix in their life. When it comes to health, personal health. And then when we're talking about recreational use, those are just people who want to go out and smoke it, just like people want to go out and drink alcohol. There's just certain people, and that's a market on 2 different types of people right there. All right, so breaking down the basics of consumers when it comes to this stock, and all of, weed stocks in the market right now. The consumers are there. We have people that need this for personal health reasons. I believe that. There's definitely, research that goes along with cancer patients, helping them retain their appetite, and other good, benefits like that. I'm not a doctor, but these are certain things that I know because they've been happening for a while now. And then we have people who would just go out and buy it for recreational use, like, people go out and buy a drink or something on the weekends for alcohol or something like that. So you have those 2 different consumers right there, and that just makes a huge market on something. This is not a pill that anybody, like if you're in a CVS or something like that, not everybody can go behind the counter and get a pill. This is talking about you're going to have a recreational portion and you're going to have a medical portion. This is going to be a huge market when it explodes. Take my word for that. I really believe in this stock, and I think it's a very good investment right now. Just my opinion, but I really like this stock, and I also like Aurora Cannabis. So Aurora Cannabis, I think, I'm wondering what Aurora Cannabis is trading at now. Since I know this is not about Aurora Cannabis, but this is just a example because I had Aurora Cannabis. I sold it a little bit early. Let's see. $7.36, and that's pretty good because I had this when it was dirt cheap. Let's see. I believe I sold it at like $4 or $5, so but I know it spiked. It definitely spiked. It definitely spiked hard. It was trading, you know, really high for a little bit. I remember seeing. I had it a while ago, so that's probably why. Okay, so look at this spike up here on Aurora Cannabis. I'm sure they had some good news about releasing a product. It spiked to $18.92. That is crazy. Of course, you're not going to get the peak, but still crazy to see a stock spike that high, especially out of all things, a marijuana stock. It's crazy now to think of that. But yeah, I had this stock around like $2.50, $3, and then it went up to $4.50, around $5 or something like that. I sold it, so that was really good. I like that stock a lot. Okay, let's go back to our SNDL. Okay, jumping back on track, looking at this stock again, it came into the market in 2019, or it came on Robinhood in 2019, and it definitely came in overvalued. Let me show the price. It came in overvalued at $12.16, so let's put that down here maybe. All right, so looking at SNDL on the 5-year, it came into the market at $13, and it immediately declined all the way down and kind of consolidated in like the pennies. So it turned into a penny stock, and it came in. I guess it came in very overvalued because it wasn't like it was a huge like. It's not like it was climbing and then dropped off like everybody sold it. They had bad news or something like that. It came in and immediately tanked in the market. So it was, I think their offerings were way overvalued. That's probably why that happened. But then, you know, from there on, we've basically been consolidating and looking at a couple little spikes here and there, which are pretty cool. But overall, just been a consolidation period right now. So nobody has missed the train yet. And that's why the video is coming out, because I believe something will happen eventually with this stock. And I know they have some good things coming. I will definitely need to find a couple news articles on their projects coming, but I read a couple, it was months ago. I read a couple projects they had, and I just like the price. Okay, so I found this really good article by Market Insider, and I really like this. It gives a lot of good information on SNDL, and it tells you kind of the real of what's going on with the stock right now. By the way, anything this says, I mostly agree with, and it's not really shaking anybody off of holding the stock at all. So what we're reading is kind of just the raw facts of what's going on and how SNDL is going to have to come up with some news addressing why the stock price is where it's at and what shareholders could expect for the future. But we kind of lead to some of that in here because we can kind of see with what we just talked about with, you know, the market on cannabis and how diversified SNDL is becoming, we can see a positive future. So you have to keep that mindset all the time of like, I really see the positives are outweighing the negatives with this company, so I could definitely invest in it. A quick example would be for me, I think Ocugen. I had them kind of after they had that big spike, and I couldn't see, after the big spike, I really could not find any reason to keep holding that stock. I was looking at the news, I wasn't seeing anything. I wasn't seeing that they were working on anything. So, you know, I sold it off. And, you know, I sold it off in profits, so it didn't hurt. But a lot of times you got to be real with yourself. If you don't see any positive reason for holding a stock or keeping your hard-earned money in a stock, then don't hold it. No emotions to it. We can't be attached to these things because they're not attached to us. They don't care about us. So looking at this article, It's basically saying that Reddit traders can initiate a short squeeze, like we saw with GME and AMC, if they want to. Okay, but for the time being, keeping SNDL stock above $1 for a while would be reasonable. Would be a reasonable objective. Now, before I finish the section, they say I must conclude that Sundial's trailing 12-month earnings per share is around minus 47 cents. So negative 47 cents per share is where it's not supposed to be where it's at. Meaning, like, say, just an example, if it's at 80 cents, they're expecting it to be $1.27 a share. Their earnings aren't matching up with the share price right now, so they need to come up with some information on why that is. Whether it just be market patterns or, we're just not producing right now with the, current world situation, pandemic, everything combined in one. They have a lot of excuses right now for a company not to be doing its full potential. But we should see things really bounce back soon, so this now is the time to still keep getting invested. So looking at how diverse SNDL is. So it says on the bullish side of things, Sundial Growers recently completed its acquisition of the Spiritleaf Retail Cannabis Network. So explaining what that is, we're going to look. So with that event, Sundial acquired all of the issued and outstanding common shares of Inner Spirit Holdings Ltd., which used to trade publicly in the U.S. under the ticker INSHF. Never heard of it, but all right, they bought it, so that's good for the company. Obviously, this is big news for anybody who happened to be invested in Inner Spirit Holdings, but what does it mean for Sundial shareholders? As Sundial Grower CEO Zach George explains, the acquisition of the Spiritleaf Cannabis Retail Network makes Sundial a stronger and more diverse cannabis company. I agree with that. Buying, more companies is just going to take people out the markets and bring you more money in the long run. So I agree. The skeptics might contend that Sundial is a relatively small company in the Canadian cannabis industry. If you didn't know, they're based in Canada. I don't think I mentioned that. Sure, there are much bigger competitors in the legalized pot business, yet Sundial's growth story is compelling. So what we were explaining earlier with federal legalization, if that happens, they're going to be looking for new growers to be able to supply the U.S. Hopefully by that time, we're looking at Sundial to be a growing company. So by that time that they've grown substantially to where they can handle a workload of, shipping product and maintaining, all their local business at the same time, then you'd be looking at a potential, monster of a stock, because that could, like I said, the industry, the market is coming, so we just have to hold on tight and invest and trust the process. So this is going to say more than the shares. Sorry about that. So this is going to say more than the shares. At first glance, it might seem like Sundial Growers only gained a boatload of Inner Spirit Holdings shares. However, there's much more to take over than that. As a diversified cannabis company, Sundial relies on its portfolio of brands, and Spiritleaf is a major brand in Canadian cannabis. That's really good. They acquired a major brand in Canadian cannabis. That's going to get their name out there more. So using bullet points to sum up the value of Spiritleaf acquisition. So they're summing up the value of Spiritleaf, and basically they says Spiritleaf because now Spiritleaf is Sundial. They have it. So we're going to look at all the positives of Spiritleaf before they grabbed it up. So they are well established, basically, in this one. It says the corporate-owned stores, and they have 100-plus stores across 6 Canadian provinces. So it broadens Sundial's business with a strategic entry into cannabis retail. That's really good to hear. It enables greater access to the retail markets, product marketing insights, and consumer purchasing trends. Allows Sundial to piggyback on Spiritleaf's reputation as an industry leader. I was thinking that Spiritleaf has built a reputation. Sundial is now basically taking the credit for that reputation. So a lot of times when companies do this, people will be thinking they're going to Spiritleaf and getting their favorite stuff, but then again, it may have the same name, but they're buying Sundial's product. So win-win for Sundial and win-win for the consumer. So I will kind of break this down right here for the last paragraph. So this says the bottom line. Sure, it's possible to sit around and hope that Reddit traders pump SNDL stock price again. Whatever, I like to say it is what it is, but we're going to invest on the strategy of analyzing a company and their potential, not hoping for Reddit to pump a stock again, just like AMC and GME. We're just not going to do that. Like it says right there, however, that's not much of an investment strategy. Instead, it's probably better to examine the company and monitor its growth, which in the case of Sundial Growers, as it acquires a major cannabis brand, is undeniable. On the date of publication, David Modell did not have either directly or indirectly any positions in the securities mentioned in this article. The opinions expressed on this article are those of the writer, subject to the investorplace.com. So the guy who wrote the article can't be biased, so he didn't have any shares of the article. I'm sorry. So basically what that's saying is the guy who wrote the article does not have any direct shares. He's just writing the article based on an analyzation standpoint, just like we're analyzing this stock right now. So that's good that he can't really be biased about anything. And that basically sums up that article. So thank you so much for watching. And please like and subscribe if you guys want to see more videos. I will continue to make content to the best of my ability. And go in the comment section, comment any questions you have about stock trading, and I'll answer them to the best of my ability. And if I can't answer them myself, I'll find an answer. And throw some ticker symbols in the comment section, and we can analyze the stock. The next video, if I see a ticker symbol and I analyze it and I really like it, I'm gonna throw it in the video, and we're gonna analyze it together, and I'll shout you out for that. So that would be really cool, really fun to do. That's everything. Thanks y'all so much. Peace out. See you next video.